don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Maybe we're not up yet.
Yeah, I think we're good to go, Jim.
Okay.
Just waiting for our main camera to go on, but they got an early start on us, or maybe we got just a little bit late. So first end well underway here.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it was. We had a little technical issues going on, and Sean and I took advantage of that to try to learn how to say some of these Japanese names. I'm not sure we had a lot of success, but we'll see as we move along here. So we're almost at the end of the first end, Sean, and I don't know if whoops.
Ooh.
There coming out of the hack. Got it back surprisingly good.
A little problem with the landing gear there.
Yeah. So got to move a little. Well, could have been worse. So our game today features Claire Booth out of Alberta and Sayaka Yoshimura from Japan. Both teams at 1-1 coming into this game. They're both in the B event. This is a triple knockout event, so you get to play until you lose 3 games, and they've each lost one. Booth lost her first one, and I believe that Yoshimura might have lost her second one, but we might be mixed up because we had the wrong team for a little while there. So when I was looking it up earlier,
we were able to peek in a little bit, even though we had some technical difficulties getting to air. So we know that Yoshimura has last rock here in the first end, and it was just one miss early. We happened to see it, just an over curl on a hit. And then it's been an exchange of stones since then, and I think this is Skip's last rock, so she might be drawing for 2 right here.
Yeah, I believe you're right, Sean. It's looks like 6 in the back and 1 in the house. So yeah, we've noticed. We were talking earlier about we've noticed a couple of the teams they're just having a little trouble early with the amount of curl, and they played a lot of games now, so they should have a handle. But still early in the game, if you drop that weight a little bit unexpectedly, you just end up tending to over curl and miss on the low side. So good draw there for Yoshimura, and they will take a 2-0 lead after the first end here at the Alberta Curling Series Women's Major.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Welcome back as we start the second end here in our game between Yoshimura and Booth. Yoshimura drew for 2 in the first stand to take an early 2-0 lead. But I will say really early. Should be lots of time to go here yet. Sean?
Yeah, that's the old saying, right? Especially since the free guard zone came in. If you're going to give up 2, the best time to do it's the first stand. You got lots of time to get it back.
Yeah, and it looks like Booth is going to get, throw up the corner guard here early, or maybe not. Not sure what she's throwing here. I'll have to.
Yeah, they did call for the corner guard. This is just a good indication of how much it curls. She's taken ice near the edge of the forefoot on the other side, and look at it go.
Yeah, probably going to overcurl.
This is the first game I've seen today, but there's been lots of curl through the 2 events last weekend and this weekend.
Yeah, ended up in a pretty good spot, though. It's, you could argue that would be where you'd want it, or, maybe a slightly less curl would be good, but you don't want to be too much closer to the center line, or it makes it really hard to get into the forefoot area.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you want it any tighter to center. Maybe tighter to the rings, but not tighter to center.
Yeah,
it's when it's that high, it's still almost in the way of an out-turn draw to the button. Here's a good example of it. Like this rock is just inside of it now.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is that we saw shots today. We've seen shots for the last couple of weeks that rocks are almost fully buried, and people are going around and hitting them on the nose or so close to the nose. And, It doesn't look possible from here, but it obviously is. So
this camera view that we have gives a really good example, or it really illustrates how big the movement is late, because you watch a rock, we're looking from up high behind the thrower, and you see a rock that as it crosses the hog line, it's still on the outside of the forefoot, and there it is. It's in the top of the forefoot on the other side of the center when it stops. Like that's 3.5, 4 feet of movement from the hog line to where it stopped. That's huge light movement. You don't have to come anywhere near a guard to bury on this ice.
Yeah.
In fact, if you do, you're probably out in the open on the other side.
So Yoshimura played her second stone into the house, and Claire Booth is going to ask her lead, Sophie Brissette, to remove at least one of those, and she did. Would have been nice if she had been able to pick up both of them there, but
Even just hold the shooter. She probably doesn't care whether she gets the back one, but it would have been nice to stay, because if you can stay somewhere,
yeah,
Yoshimura probably can't ignore it, and then you've got a chance to go onto the offense.
Yeah, Yoshimura going in the house again, so she'll get to try it again anyways. But pretty solid. All the curlers coming out of the Asian countries are all technically pretty sound. This one's curling out pretty good. You got to be a little careful here. It might over curl on you, but just trying to get it to the rings. Come up a little short, but it won't hurt her, I don't think. Well, maybe over curl a little bit.
Gives Claire a chance to decide whether she wants to play offense, though. And she didn't take very long to think about that, did she?
No, I know. I'm impressed, because like I say earlier, the game I did earlier, it took 4 ends, and nobody really wanted to do anything for 4 or 5 ends, and then they went pretty good the last 3 ends. The second half was a much more fun to play and watch game. So to come around here, you'd like to be above the tee line, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you're freezing down to that one this early in the end. Not on purpose, anyway.
No.
See, look at that one. Still on the corner guard at this point.
Yeah, if it's not heavy, it'll get over there. But
I think it might be heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, tough one. They're in a little bit of trouble now. Yoshimura has a chance to put one behind the guard above the tee line, and Claire Booth will have to probably make a little more defensive call on the next one. But
still a good example of the curl, though. It almost hit the outside guard, and yet still almost hit that rock at the back of the 8-foot.
Yeah, exactly, and it was through the house weight. So
yeah.
Girls are going hard on this one.
Yeah, she's got nice line if it's got the weight to get there. Looks like it does.
It's a good shot. They might have been able to maneuver just slightly differently. Just let it curl a little tiny bit more, maybe end up a foot shorter, but maybe a little tiny bit more buried. But it's not really going to matter because Claire's going to take the guard off anyway, I think. That's what it looked like in her indication, but she's standing in a place where it might make it, you think she's hitting the one in the house, but I don't see hitting the one in the house with the weight it would take to make it here. So an out-turn hit for second stone Sydney Livis, I think would be the pronunciation.
Yeah, and they're going after the one in the house now.
Yeah, they are.
Looked like she was just a little bit back on the delivery, and that's the one nice thing for the skip with where she was positioned. She was in a position to make the call for a change of the shot.
Yeah, exactly. And you almost have to do something with it to get it to stay straight like that. You either had to be a little outer, you had to set it a little bit outer.
Yeah, and a lot of these players do that anyway nowadays. They're used to playing on ice that curls with rocks that curl, and so many of them now will practice. I hate to call it a set because they don't really want to move it backwards, but they're trying to be positive enough that they straighten it out a little bit with the release so that it won't curl early. But it is really easy to overdo it on that.
Yeah, I think for a little while they were using the term "pop it out there" sort of thing.
Yep.
Just pop it a little bit to keep it straighter. And
well, the slam teams still do, but the slam ice typically curls 6 feet. They have to, right? It's so hard to hold center if you don't.
Yeah. So that rock certainly went deeper than they would have wanted it to be.
Yeah, and look at how far past the guard it curled after it. It's in the back 12, and you would swear they couldn't have got there from the out turn. Well, they did.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of movement.
Yeah, a chance for the Booth team to go after it a little bit here, and I am happy to see her playing these shots because some teams don't play them, and you've got to assume you're going to make that last one, especially if it's not going to be super difficult, and you have to go at it a little bit, and she has. Although I think she's in trouble with this one again. It's going to be a little bit heavy. Almost. Unfortunately for Booth, Yoshimura now has a chance, same chance she had a couple of shots ago to really put the heat on here.
Yeah, you just can't keep missing that shot the same way.
No.
Even if you're in the 12-foot and you'd like to be shot, but even if you're in the top 12-foot, she can't keep playing this come around. You're in the way.
Well, exactly, yeah. And if even if you're only if you're 2/3 open, she has to do something with it or something. It's just
a rock in the top 12 you could still use.
Exactly.
I've heard Russ say it many times. I like the way he phrased it. I've never seen anybody put a rock in the back 8-foot and then make it better on the next shot. It's just
The good news for the Booth team is that the Japanese team seems to be persistent on putting them back there. So everybody's struggling a little bit with the weight right now. So same call, just got to take some weight off of that. This is a big shot. I think if you've got to make one here because it's getting pretty late in the end. And third, Jamie Scott will be asked to not replicate the shot she just threw, but throw it a little bit better, a little bit less weight. Well, sweepers are indicating it might not be much less.
Sweeping for curl now, hoping that they catch the red one because I think they've decided it's not less at all. It looks like it's more.
She's heavier than the first shot. Well, it's not a good one.
We did kind of see part of the practice, but I can't remember enough about who practiced where. These types of shots always surprise me because both teams are heavy. I mean, Booth's team's heavier still. They've been through the house 3 times, but Yoshimura has been back house 3 times. Both teams get a practice session before the game, and it's all draw to the button because of that all-important draw for last rock. So you would assume that they should have a good feel for draw to the button. Now, I'm going to guess second practice must have been the other side of the sheet, and maybe it just keened up this much in the first end because both teams are struggling to find the weight here.
Yeah.
Booth more so, but...
Yeah, I would agree with you, Sean. You wouldn't expect them to be having this much trouble with it. You know, you might have one that you throw like that, and then they say, "Hey guys, it's like,"
and maybe to the corner because they don't throw to the corner in the practice, but all of the pregame would have gone to the button, so you'd think they'd have a pretty good feel for it.
Yeah. This one must be close for weight. Coming in pretty nicely.
Yeah, if anything, this one's going to over curl just a little.
Yeah, she left her an opportunity, didn't she?
Yeah.
If you can say it's opportunity when you're looking at 3 or 4 in the house, but still could have been a lot tougher.
You mentioned earlier when they first tried the come around that they were probably trying to get the top of the house. This is actually, we're now getting into a situation where your skip's first, you're against 4, where you might try to make sure you're right down to the back one freeze and make sure that none of those ones are going to end up on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
If she follows you down, you're only going to get a shot for 1, but if you make this freeze, you're not giving up any more than 1.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. I think you have to be there if you can now. So a big shot for Claire Booth, her first one in the second end here. It's an out-turn draw. She's got probably 4.5, almost 4.5, about 4.5 feet of ice. And it'll stay pretty straight for quite a while, as we've talked, and then somewhere close to the other hog line, it'll just turn left. If you can get the weight right. Certainly not narrow, I don't think. It looked like she kind of got it out there.
Yeah. Both brushers down right away, though.
Yeah, it's got to move.
And slow down. They jumped this out of her hand.
Yeah, they didn't need to. Wow.
So it's not just the thrower that's fooled, because the sweepers, both brushes were down right as soon as she let go.
Yeah. And
that's usually, we think you're light. You don't usually see both brushes down unless they think you're light.
Yeah, I mean that's three or four, at least 3 in a row now that have kind of taken that same path, and they haven't slowed down at all. They've just gotten progressively heavier on every shot.
And you can't put it all on the throwers, because obviously the sweepers who have walked beside all of these rocks, thought it was less weight.
Well, they're still high-fiving each other anyway, so they're still that's a good sign. But boy, I'll tell you, if Yoshimura puts this rock in the top of the 8-foot, just on the right side of center, somewhere in that area, or even a little shorter than that, it's going to be a very difficult shot for Claire Booth to just never mind score. It might be a tough shot to only give up 1.
Yeah, if she puts this full 12 on the center, on the broom side of center line, I don't think you can get in there with a draw again by the time you're past the corner guard. And if she's got to go wide on the in-turn, it'll be the first shot out there all end, and a complete guess.
Yeah. I think you're going to have to try to stay on that out-turn and sneak it around there and at least bite the 4-foot, maybe give up a point. Just because not because we've done that shot so well, but because at least we've seen it, I guess, would be the attitude.
Yeah, if it stays high enough on this line, I don't think she's got a shot on the out-turn.
She might be a little bit heavy. She might give her an out again. Wow. Well, they seem happier about it than I would be. But you are counting, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the good news for the Yoshimura team. The problem is that you have left her much more of an out than you had to. Now, it's never easy when the other team's counting 5, but at the same time.
Well, she's got to hit it right on the nose, too, which means she's flirting with the guard. If she's anything broom side, it's just going to jam.
Yeah. I don't know. They're probably even just a little bit more confused on the ice on this side too, because all those draws are running a little straight, but the draws have all been heavy. It just for me, when I look at it, Sean, I don't feel real good that she's about having enough ice for this shot, assuming she's not going to throw it crazy hard down here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a ton of ice, does it?
No. But if she lets it go okay and they take it early, they can hold it out there and then let it do its thing. Solved her delivery issues from the first end anyways.
Got the landing gear down.
Yeah. I think this is probably pretty good. I can't see real well here, but
let's
get it.
She's still on the outside.
Yeah. Oh.
Jammed it and rolled.
So it looks like we have a steal of 2.
I think so.
Steal of 2 for the Yoshimura team from Japan, and they will take a fairly commanding early lead 4-0 after 2 ends of play here at the Alberta Curling Series Women's Major.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to the third end of play. Jim next with Sean Joyce here at the Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. The Claire Booth team from Alberta here has some work to do. They're down 4-0 after 2 ends of play. Give them some credit because they did throw up some corners last end and tried to make it work, but they struggled with the draw weight and just, had 3 or 4 in a row that traveled that same path and put them in a lot of trouble. And Claire Booth made a pretty good shot on her last one, almost had it, and just didn't need to curl up another inch or so. But as a result, they are down four after 2 ends, and they're going to have to get after it a little bit here. Yoshimura is expected to play into the house, and the corner guard's going up.
If it stops in time. It is a bit of a tough draw for the Booth team. This is just their first event of the season, and their first game did not go well. No. They did win earlier today, but they were shut out 10-0 in their first game. And they had a close one I guess that was this morning, 6-5. But this is just their first event of the season. Yeah. Now I'm looking at, I've got Yoshimura's screen in front of me too, and they have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 results. Or this is their 6th event of the season. They got a few more games under their belt this year.
That's amazing, isn't it? 6th game. I mean, a couple of those would have been over in Europe for sure, but still, that's a lot of events for the 20th of September.
Yeah. 3 of them back home in Japan before they came over, but they've played in Oakville, Cornwall as well.
Yeah.
Since they came to Canada. So
yeah. So Booth's going to ignore both those rocks for now, and they're 2 good shots for the Japanese team. But Claire recognizes that she's got to score, and she's going to have to do something a little slightly more aggressive here. So she's going to come around the corner, or maybe not. No, she's going to throw the second corner up. Sorry. I haven't seen this all weekend, actually, or the double corners on the same side. I just haven't seen anybody play that. So it fooled me, although she's not going to end up playing it either by the look of it.
She's not going to make it, but
well, it's a very good secondary shot.
Yeah, ends up with a good come around.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think just looking at, again, we don't have mics on the players, but looking at the way Claire was calling that, I think she was looking for the high corner.
Yeah, she seemed to walk out as soon as the rock was on its way. She kind of walked out in front of that one.
And that would make sense. I mean, that first corner guard is so tight. You're set up great to throw the second corner there.
Yeah.
It's always tough to throw the 2 guards when the first one is halfway.
Yeah. Yoshimura looking at a couple of options here and not necessarily falling in love with any of them. So she's going to play the free come around to her own. Just sit in the corner. She can probably get pretty close to the nose of her own.
Somebody was looking at the run back, and then I think somewhere along the line, somebody had to count and say, we can't do that yet. This is still just the 5th rock of the end, but I did see 2 of them actually gesture at the run back. Well, you can't play that yet.
Yeah. You need to have that task allocated to somebody, because it's like watching time clocks when you have clocks. You need somebody to count the rocks everything for us.
You would hope the second would pay attention. They're the one throwing it.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw that actually in a game yesterday. It was the opening draw. Selena Sturmey went to call for the short run back, and the other 3 yelled down, we can't do that yet.
Yeah. Here's a shot that's a great shot. I didn't know if she could get it that buried, but she did. So in the space of about 3.5 maybe feet, it curled a foot with the rock and a little bit more. So Booth, she doesn't really have too many options here. I think you pretty near have to make this one go away and give yourself a little bit of an opportunity. And don't know that they're quite sharp enough yet to do anything different than this. And I think this is not bad if you get rid of this and hang around somewhere in the corner.
This is my first look at the Booth team, and it looks like they throw a lot more weight on their hits than I would want to throw when I'm 4 down. They had this last end when they had the hit and roll over chance early in the end, and they overthrew it and rolled out. And even Claire's last one, we were both talking about it. It didn't look like a lot of ice. She did throw a fair amount of weight, and she jammed it and gave up 2.
Yeah. And things like what just happened there. Yeah, it's unlucky. It's a bad break, but it was partly creative because you went at that with so much weight for a shot that you want your shooter to stay somewhere.
And now they can make your corner guard go away, and it's real tough to score 2 after this.
Yeah, she had a little bit of setup going there, but lots of rocks to come. We're halfway through this end, or just about half. Well, I guess we are just halfway through after this shot. This is where it gets tough if you're not, if you're not playing a lot and you haven't really maybe got your curling brain working 100% yet. If this is your first time on the ice, pretty much.
This again, it's tight ice, and I don't know what that midriff hand signal is for their weight, but she's got to try to get to the inside of that if she's going to roll behind. So this is really tight ice.
Yeah, this is pretty difficult. I think it's
looks like less weight.
And probably good weight, but not enough ice for that shot. Assuming that's about what you would have wanted for weight, I don't know. Enough to get out. So that's about board, I think, probably close to board.
Hack to board anyway, somewhere in there,
Yeah.
I don't mind the weight she threw. I'm not sure if that's what they were calling for or not, but
no, exactly.
That was not a lot of ice for that kind of weight on this ice.
No.
Left a pocket of the Reds, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Looks like the Japanese squad's going to have not too much trouble with this. That's okay. Booth has a little something to work with. You've got the 2 that you can play the freeze to if you like. You could come around the one that she just threw at some point.
The same thing. You sure could on this ice. Rocking the 12-foot is just a guard.
Yeah.
I think you definitely want to make this first, this early in the end. I guess if it was later in the end, you could come around that one first.
Yeah. This is a pretty good call, I think, if she can make it.
I agree.
Because it can be very difficult to get it out if you can get it in there in the right spot. You set it right in the crotch or whatever of those 2 rocks. Must be a little on the light side. The girls seem to be going pretty hard here.
Well,
I think it looks quite light.
Yeah. They're struggling to find the weight.
They are. They just, the only good thing about it, Sean, is at least it appears that they have made the adjustment from throwing it too hard. So they're thinking the right way anyway, but they just got to make a couple here. So Yoshimura looking at peeling off the corner. No great surprise here. It took her a second to get to it, but
yeah, she turned around and said, "Oh yeah, we're up 4. Let's hit this."
That's right. Yeah.
And I laughed, but she did. She turned around and looked at the scoreboard.
Yeah. Just confirm nobody snuck a few points on there since you finished last night.
Close to hanging around.
Yeah. Well, if you're Booth, now you have a little more to work with.
Yeah.
They're all red, but right now when you're down 4-0, we don't really care what color they are, I don't think. Somebody's got to make a shot here, though. They can't, you go through the middle of your lineup and you got to have a couple shots made in there to give you a chance as the thing goes on. So,
well, and your tolerance is almost changed here. Like you could afford to tight ice this and make sure you're there, because if you actually over curl these two and dead bury, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You just can't throw it heavy and be out there. It's got to curl.
This one looks pretty good. She's probably going to get a little tiny bit of a flop on the red.
That works. That works really good.
Yeah, that's a good shot for sure. Yoshimura looking to play in a guard.
I'm not sure you can guard everything. She can make the double off the red on the tee line. Just come into the back of the other stone.
Catching the back of the other one, yeah.
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 So they're looking at where they're tapping the ice there. They've got to come to the top of the 12-foot, pretty much right between the yellow and the red, and that should take away both shots, I think.
That was good vision on the part of the leader second, whether that is there, because she was she's definitely right. You could leave a hole almost. I mean,
you look at it from the hack view, like as she's looking at it from the hacks. So you got the yellow rock, you got some air, and then you got the red rock. So it's about 2.5 rocks wide. And you're trying to guard it with one rock. Well, that's tough. Like you don't have a lot of air. You don't have a lot of leeway here to guard both shots.
No, and I don't think you want this one. If this one curls up too much and you guard just the yellow, then as you mentioned a minute ago,
she's got the double. And if you leave the port, she can play the yellow onto the red.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's going to be tough to guard all of this with one rock. It can be done, but there's not a lot of extra room.
So we got the intern coming for Yoshimura. Sayaka.
One hand up from the brushers indicating they might think this is coming in. Haven't touched it yet. And of course,
it's pretty good if it doesn't curl too much more.
Yeah, it just won't stop curling. It's going to keep sliding.
Well, this will be an interesting call. So she's seen that anyways. That's good.
Yeah. But that came in so tight, she could play red onto yellow onto red, too.
Could, yeah.
Like, the other double is probably there. You hit the one on the tee line, come into the back end of that shot stone. But your shooter... What do you think, Jim? Does a shooter stay, or when it's that far off the back end, is it going to scoot through?
I think it's I think it will. I think you can make contact with the red one at the back, or on the button rather. But I just don't know if you can make enough contact that your shooter stays in a good place and the other one moves far enough to be, to be out into the 8-foot somewhere. I'm not sure if that can work.
Yeah, I'm not either.
In a minute.
Well, I think you can get it to move, but if you're in the back end of that red stone at the top of the button, and here's a good look at it with the overhead. If you're in the back end of that red stone, with the weight you got to throw to get it out, your shooter's just going to scoot through the back.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Mind you, with where that red stone just stopped, if you just made the hit and rolled over to the side of the shot stone right now, don't even move it. Just hit and sit right beside it. Is that bad?
That might be better. Yeah.
Hard for Yoshimura to do much about it.
Yeah, she may have to just leave it there, or she might try to pick it out, I suppose, but
risky if you're right beside it.
See what Claire Booth does with this one. Looked like a decent throw out of her hand. Trying to curl.
Yeah, they're just playing the hit and roll here.
Yeah. And I think that they're really just throwing it through the curl a little bit. I think, Sean, they're just a little bit too much weight for.
Yeah, I mean, that one wasn't as big as some of the ones that they threw earlier,
No.
but that's just not a good lead because if Yoshimura hits it on the nose,
Yeah.
I don't know how you're making the double and stay.
Yeah, that would be difficult for sure. I don't know if it would be possible if she knows hits it. If she rolls in a little bit, if she ever were to roll in,
Yeah, or out.
Or out, yeah.
Actually, she could roll right away, and she's probably okay because then your shot to hit the yellow is to run the red onto the yellow, while your shooter's not going to be second shot then.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. As you're sitting here looking at it, you're thinking, I know that they're thinking, well, we work, how do we do this and stay? But sometimes the best shot is just to get it out of there. I don't know that red could do much with it. Could maybe play a real thin off your own over there, I suppose. If you made it, you might get two. Yoshimura's got some weight on this one too, so she's looking to.
Well, they had Broom inside the edge of the rock, so she had to have some weight on it.
Yeah. So a good throw. I think she had in her mind the same thing we were talking about, where she's like, "The best thing I can do is get out of here."
Yeah, she's got a shot here for one, but I don't think there's any chance she rolls. Even if she hits this off nose jams on, I don't think there's any chance the shooter rolls into the 12 far enough to beat the one on the other side.
Yeah. No, I think you're right for sure. Well,
and this is not a gimme either. She's still got to be close to the nose, and there is a guard there.
Yeah. Third stone, Jamie Scott just moved it out a little bit, took a couple more inches of ice, which I think was a good idea. It didn't look like a lot of ice to me. But again, it's all about matching up the ice with the weight. And this is not a real hard shot.
It's another one. You don't really have to throw it hard. You just have to hit it on the nose.
Yeah. Probably has to curl a little bit.
That's coming up nice now.
Yeah, don't let it hit the guard.
That was a pretty casual brush.
That was, yeah. Very good shot by Claire Booth to pick up 1 point here in the third end. And we will go to the fourth end with Yoshimura leading Booth 4-1.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
So we're back here for the start of the fourth end. As we mentioned, Yoshimura up 4-1 on Claire Booth. Booth team asks for center guard. They'd like that one to stay in contact with the center line. Claire's indicating the sweepers that she might have just kind of did something with it with her wrist or whatever. Pretty good weight, just a little bit over curl.
So this allows Yoshimura to try the tick shot, and they're going to. You don't see this much even when they do get off the line.
No, exactly, yeah.
And on ice that curls this hard, the tick shot's a much harder shot when the ice is curling like this.
Yeah. So This will be out turn. She'll probably throw. I haven't seen too many tech shots in a while either. I think normally you might play this with about a backline kind of weight, but there's a few different options with it. This looks like it's probably gonna work. Who's gonna go hard, try to get it to the boards? That's not gonna happen. It's a good shot for lead Anna Omia.
And now it's in the ring, so they can hit it on the next attempt.
Exactly, yeah.
And that might be why they played the split. If the guard was higher, maybe they don't play that shot because they can't just push it into the rings.
No, that was a good shot. Good weight, saved her shooter, saved that. So and Booth really has to kind of ignore it. It's another important guard going up, but it's going to be in their house as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just not a good shot for leads nowadays. If the one thing they need to be able to do is have a handle on draw weight, and I mean they need to do everything like everybody else, but the draw weight is so key for them.
Well, and I think unintentionally you hit the nail on the head there. Part of the issue for the Booth team, and it's just my observation here through the first few ends, it is their first event. But looking at Sophie Brissette versus Claire Booth, for instance, there's a lot of difference in how much rotation they throw on their handle. So that's where Brissette's having a hard time holding the center line.
Yeah.
She does not have the same rotation as Claire does. And that could just be because, like I said, it's third game of the season. They probably haven't a lot of chance to practice yet, and they're not all throwing the rocks the same yet.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's hard on the skip too.
Yeah.
That'll come with games.
Yeah. So Booth's going to stay on the offense here. Try to. I don't know. I think she's throwing a guard, I assume.
Yeah, I would think so. And I like this call if that's what she's playing. You're trying to throw a guard just off the center line, kind of in between the two reds, so that there's jams available both ways. Just try to put it in a spot where it's hard to peel it, because you saw last end.
Yeah.
The Japanese team is going to try to peel guards. Oh, if it would have stopped about 2 feet higher, it would have been pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
She can peel it between the two reds now and roll out pretty easy.
Yeah, you can see that the team as a whole just hasn't quite got a feel for it, because even on that rock, and not to be picky, but we had one sweeper not pounding it, but certainly doing more than just a light clean, and the rock is you definitely don't want that rock in. So it was they just haven't quite picked up the weight on it yet. This gets a little difficult for the Booth team as far as figuring out how to proceed in this end, but I think for at least the next couple of shots you got to try to find a way to get something out of it.
Yeah, I think so, because it's not like you expect. Like, Yoshimura is not going to switch gears on you and suddenly go to the offense.
That's right, yeah.
So you've got to play offense. You will have to make a decision at some point in time, because you can't afford to give up another 2 or 3. So there's going to be that point where you get to it. It's all timing, right? All of these teams will have a feel for how late in the end can we afford to play one more guard, because Yoshimura's already sitting 2. If you throw 1 too many, she will try to score 3.
Yeah. Well, we got to get this one over.
Yeah, this one's going to be too high.
So the guard's up. It's a little long, but it's there, and Yoshimura will look to remove it.
But by being that high, it's any chance to jam, she'd have to be really thick on the first one. This is where you're looking to be in that about 5 feet in front of the house, and you don't want to be splitting center. You'd like to be kind of centered between the two reds, and then half a rock on either side probably jams.
So a good shot there. Straight peel.
I'm counting rocks. I'm probably throwing one more guard, I think.
Yeah, I'm going once more too.
Because I don't think she's going to come in on thirds first. Oh, pardon me. Yep, thirds first. This is thirds first stone, right?
There's sometimes where the skip is just looking for some help here, and everybody's standing at the other end.
Yeah,
just looking at her. It's like,
you can tell it's a time, like she's afraid to throw one more guard because they could switch gears on her. But
yeah,
I think you throw one more. If she decides to come around it, you still got 3 chances.
Yeah.
I think you're happy if she comes around it.
I agree, Sean. I think it's I don't think she will for sure, and
yeah, I don't think so either. Traditionally, if you were going to make an aggressive shot, and this even predates the free guard zone, if you were going to make an aggressive shot with last rock against coming around the middle, you do it on thirds last stone.
Yeah.
So I think you could safely assume she's not coming in until thirds last stone.
Yeah.
And if she comes in early, that's actually to your advantage.
So they didn't hit that where they wanted to hit it. I guess if there's a positive side, I think they have shot rock now for whatever that's worth. Yoshimura now will play the out turn, try to hit this yellow one. Stay right there would be fine with her.
Yeah, she could have the house really well split here if she can stay right near the broom at least.
Yeah. The second stone, Keho Onadera. This one's curling a bit. Very good shot.
Yeah, that's really nice.
This team hits pretty well. Not going to miss too many wide open ones, but. So Claire's decided maybe we better look at trying to get out of this in the next couple of shots.
Yeah, have to now. And it's tough because look at it. There's 8 feet between those 2 stones.
Yeah,
9.
exactly. Yeah.
And you got to get them grouped to play a double.
Yeah, you really need the big roll on this one.
Kind of sliding sideways there.
This is going to maybe overcurl a little bit.
Yeah, and that was a little bit to do with the delivery. I don't know whether you could see it, Jim, but as she was sliding out, she was drifting a little.
Yeah.
So she started a little full, but then drifting, and that essentially the rock was already curling when she let it go because of that little drift.
Yeah. So Yuna Katani now will be asked to split the house. This could be interesting. If she puts this in not quite the right spot, it could leave Booth a little hit and roll behind that guard for a shot rock.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little careful with this one. Not heavy.
Nope.
Well, it changes the way it end around a little bit, potentially. It doesn't take much. A little bit of a tough call, and your gut tells you to come around it, but it curls so much that you might go around it, and she may still be able to get rid of it pretty easily. In which case, you might think about playing out somebody else, but I think you got to draw.
Yeah, I mean, you could hit shot rocks at 3, and you got to force. The problem is that she's going to try to come around it. Then if she makes it perfect, she's still going to get her shot for 2. It's not on the center line, but it's still protecting some forefoot. You could steal around that.
Yeah. Do you think that if she were to play the out turn takeout, though, if she did play the removal on the red, do you think Yoshimura would ignore it and come around something?
I think so.
Do you really? Okay.
Well, you're forced here anyway.
Yeah.
Like there's only 2 rocks left to come. You're forced. You may as well be forced to 2.
Yeah.
And the button's going to be open for her last one. So you throw the draw on your first one. If you make it, you got a chance for 2.
Yeah, it gives you that feel for the next one too. So
exactly. Yeah, if the guard was splitting center, then it might be a different. And I'm not saying it would be,
Yeah.
But you'd have to think about it a lot harder if the guard was splitting center.
Yeah. So Claire Booth playing the intern, come around. Looks pretty good from here. Looks really good now.
Yeah, they have to be a little careful not to come out on the other side.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they did not need to be brushing that.
No.
It's a little deep and it's past the guard.
Yeah, really good throw by Claire Booth. They just didn't quite manage it real well. But yeah, you're right. It's half open. They were still sweeping that a little bit, even right at the end there.
They were, and I mean, they're trying to get to the forefoot, but you have to realize, and that's as much the thrower in the house. We talked about it earlier. If you come tight by a guard, you're going to be out in the open. And when she came by the guard, she was too close to it. I was thinking this needs to stop before it overcurls.
Yeah.
But that's a line call, right? That the person in the house has to realize we're tighter to that guard than we needed to be. It's got to stop.
Yeah, and I think for me, I would run the risk of it not being quite as close to the pin, leaving it a couple feet shorter to make sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Exactly. I get what they're thinking. We're trying to steal. We wanted 4 foot, but if you sweep it to get that full 4, you couldn't hold the line. It was still going to overcurl like this. Yeah. Now, the shot still has to be made. She can only see half of it. And it's not a real big port. Same problem with the hits, right? It's going to stay out there for a long time. And that yellow rock in the 12 foot is in the way. They can't really afford to sweep it till it gets off that rock.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've hit very well in this game, so we'll see how Yoshimura does on this one. Might want to go a little bit. It's a great shot. Great shot, but Claire Booth has the same shot. That was a nice throw, though.
Yep.
It really was right from the time she let it go. It really never looked like it was in any kind of danger of hitting anything except for the rock that was in the house.
Actually, where she passed the guard, I'm a little surprised she didn't roll under. It didn't finish as hard from the hog line in, or from the guard in, as I thought it would. They swept it a little bit to get by the guard, and then I thought, well, if this finishes, she's rolling behind, and it actually rolled just a little bit out.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It
was nice weight.
Yeah, perfect weight, yeah. I think she's looking at something like bumper weight, board weight, just based on one little motion of the tap on the hip by the third stone.
I would think so.
That looks about right. Be careful here, because you don't actually want to just sneak this by the guard, because if you just sneak it by the guard, it's going to roll wide open.
Yeah.
But that's easier said than done, because you got to roll like a foot one way or the other, and that's it. Probably not even a foot coming towards the center line, but
I don't think there's any way you're rolling broomside. It's just never going to stay that straight after it gets by the guard.
Yeah,
the tight guard.
Yeah, I agree.
This looks like more weight than Yoshimura had.
Working to get it off that yellow one, and she will. And she'll almost roll behind the guard. That was a very delicate shot, but she almost actually got it under the corner, which wasn't possible.
She's actually made this very difficult by rolling where she is. Like Yoshimura, where she's got the broom down, it looks like she's thinking about the intern. Well, that's a reverse stagger on ice that curls a lot. That's a tough intern.
Yeah.
And if you're going to throw the out turn, because it's kind of buried on the other one, you almost have to put the broom inside the rock and go at it hard.
Yeah. Yeah, the out turn's really difficult here, I think.
It's hard to throw it quiet, right?
Yeah.
Because you could very easily overcurl it. It's funny, for a rock that didn't bury, they actually rolled that to a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
This is a tough shot from either turn.
It is. The other option is
She's thinking about drawing.
Yeah, I was going to say the other option is just to forget about it and draw the 4 foot for 1.
And that could be a kind of a scoreboard shot, right? We're up 4-1. Do we really need to take the risk? Because if you clip either guard, it's a steal.
Yeah, I can only really remember the one draw she made for the 2 early in the game, but that was a long time ago. I think she's been throwing most of the hits since then. Hits her guards. So she just needs to hit full 8 foot. Eight foot for a 4-1, 5-1 lead at the break. If she can make this. There's nothing to really worry about as far as line goes here other than making sure the weight's good.
Now they ease up on the brush a little.
And a good shot for Yoshimura. After throwing a lot of takeouts for a little while, she came up with draw weight, no problem at all, and scores 1, take a 5-1 lead at the 4th end break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Just a reminder that Yoshimura in the 4th end scored 1 point to go up actually 5-1 here after 4 ends of play, and we will be back shortly.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We're in sheet 2. Welcome back. 4 ends completed here at the Alberta Curling Series Women's Major, the Beaumont Curling Club. second week in a row, Beaumont's hosted a full-fledged bonspiel. Lots of teams.
Men last week, I think it was 18 teams on the men's side, 15 teams here with the women. And both events were triple knockouts. So playing for 8 spots in the playoffs starting Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's a lot of kudos to the club for being prepared to give up ice really for that long a period of time for these 2 events. And
I can't speak to this club, and your experience might be different too, Jim. I know here in Saskatchewan, a lot of times we don't have, like, we're just getting started. My first league game is Monday, and that's early. But we used to hold at my home club, Newtana, we used to hold some of our competitive spiels right at the start of the year, and it was actually before the league play even started, because if farmers are still in the fields and everybody else is still on the golf course, nobody wants to start their league games. So it's a good time to hold your competitive spiels, and especially since more and more nowadays the competitive curlers want to get an early start on the season, because there's big events coming up through the fall and you want to play. We talked about it earlier, look at this Yoshimura team. This is their 6th event.
Yeah, good points all the way around. We don't have too much of that down home, although we do have a number of clubs that are open now or getting open in the next few days, which is still pretty early for us. 20th of September, we wouldn't normally in the past have more than maybe 1 club.
Yeah.
Possibly 2 that would be open before the end of the month. Our club used to open around the 15th of October. We have no competitive curlers left, and we're going to be throwing rocks on the 4th or 5th of October, if not before.
But that's what I mean. If your league players aren't ready to go and you've got to put your ice in anyway, this is a good time of year to hold your competitive spiels, because these top teams, they all want to play early because they've got big events. Yoshimura team, I would imagine, is probably playing in some of the slams. Like, they wanted to have this. This is their 6th event for a reason. They've got stuff coming up that they wanted to be mid-season form for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And for Beaumont, it helps. We did the Saville shootout the week before, and I think so they had the Saville shootout, and then the men played here last weekend, and I think the men are on in Okotoks right now.
Yeah.
So they've kind of got this Alberta series. There's some events close together, so if you've got a team like, for instance, Yoshimura or some of the other international teams, they can come and play 3 or 4 events close together.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what they're looking for. They have to be able to come all the way over here. They need to be able to play 3 or 4 events in a row. And
it's great for some of these Canadian teams too. Like, you look at a team like Booth, it's a young team. They haven't played a lot on the international stage yet. How many opportunities other than this would they get to play against international competition? Like, it's just a great experience for all of these teams. It's unfortunate for Booth that they're only in their first event of the year, playing against a team that's playing in their 6th, but that's going to happen. You got to play your first event sometime.
Yeah. So just get caught up a little bit here. The Booth team has a corner and has double corners on the right-hand side of the sheet as we look at it. Yoshimura went to in the house and then the back of the house and just went in the house again. So obviously trying to take the play away from the corners, and Claire Booth is going to play a little out-turn hit and roll. I probably would rather see her just play the in-turn come around those corners right now.
I don't mind the hit, just because those 2 stones are in a pretty good spot. And it looks like she did here. You want to throw this quiet. I don't even care if you hit this on the nose. It's not the important thing to get the roll. The important thing is to hold your shooter.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Roll, though.
Yeah, that's really good.
Almost, yeah.
Gets the 2 rocks off the center line.
Yeah, and Yoshimura now will play the one in the house, which will leave you the opportunity again. If you want to go around the corners after, then you can do that.
Then you could draw for sure, because she's not going to have anything buried in the forfeit. Even if she makes a good roll, it's wide open.
Yeah.
That's a good adjustment from the Booth team. They played a couple of hits earlier in the game and threw a lot of weight. And here already in the 5th end, they're realizing, hey, we got to keep the shooter.
Yeah. Maybe probably something they would have talked about a little bit maybe at the break. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Even if they don't, amongst the team would have probably been able to figure out that you got to do something a little different with these takeouts. So good shot for Onodera there. Onodera.
Rolled farther than she would have liked. I think it looks to me like Claire was probably playing this come around anyway.
Yeah.
But when she rolls to the corner like that, for sure she's playing this. There's nothing in the middle right now to worry about.
Yeah, good opportunity here for Booth. Really, you'd love to get 3 here, but if just get a couple at least, and all of a sudden you're just down 2 with 3 hands to go. It's manageable. By the guard. Oh,
no, clipped it. I think they were feeling like they couldn't afford to sweep that, because if they get it by, I'm not sure it's stopping.
Yeah. It was certainly going to be well back there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So an open hit for Yoshimura. They've been throwing this kind of weight all game. They've had much better control the first half, at least, on the takeout weight than the Booth team, but see if that can get a little better now. You're going to hit this and roll, Sean, or you're going to draw?
You can do either. It's usually easier to make any kind of a draw than it is to count on getting a perfect roll.
Yeah.
I'm just counting stones myself. For third's first stone, I think I'd be tempted to draw here. You got to, even if it over curls a little bit, you've still got a double on the other 2 reds on the outside, and the one in the 4-foot's wide open. So even if you over curl this to get it buried, there's lots of time to get rid of the red stones yet. I think your key here is you got to get one buried. That's how you're going to get your chance at 2 or 3 this end.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I could probably live with either shot. What I can't live with is rolling out on this one, so you don't want that. Although it looks like she might have a dandy.
Even staying open, it's hard to get the extra points, yet you're running out of stones to get one buried.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. I know
if you're thinking 3,
yeah,
and you got a double corner, so 3 is a possibility, right?
Yeah.
If you bury the third's first stone, you got a chance for 3. And they didn't get it buried. Now they're still going to have a chance for 2 because they've got stuff to work with. But that was the one that they needed that stone to end up buried. However they get there.
First stone, Unikatani for Japan. This one's got to curl a little bit.
Yeah, this is out there.
Might not get there. Ooh, buried.
Well, it's buried now.
Yeah. There's a break for the Booth team. I haven't seen too many of those shots out of the Japanese squad.
No. I think, I was looking at the overhead before it disappeared. I think the redstone belonging to Yoshimura at the back of the 8-foot is shot rock. The one at the top of the 8-foot is third. I don't think there's any chance I'm hitting this. Because I'm still thinking 3.
Yeah.
I'm greedy. I'm greedy, Jim. I want 3 here. I didn't mind her first call, the corner freeze. You could just straight come around the guards on the other side again.
I was going to say, you could come around the guards again, yeah.
I get she wants to deal with shot rock now, but you don't have to. You certainly don't have to do it with a hit.
I think she's going to be okay. Nope. Probably going to go out.
No, I think it's going to hang on at the back.
Well, you know what? Not so bad.
That actually might be better than making the double. Because it's still not like Yoshimura has an easy rock to hit.
No, for sure.
If you make the double, you're sitting wide open. She just exchanges hits. You might get a shot for 2, but with a 5-1 lead, Yoshimura would probably give you 2.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to give up a shot for 3.
No, definitely not. No, I think it's all about playing to make sure you don't give up more than 2 this end and keep your hammer going to 6 up a couple, at least a couple. It's a little bit of a finessey shot she's playing down here, something, and then guessing probably in a hack weight kind of shot maybe, or backline to hack or somewhere around there.
Yeah. This is one where they might have to make a decision on the way down. Like, she needs to get a solid piece of that stone to kill it with the weight it looks like she's going to be throwing. If there's a chance she's going by, they'll have to go after the back one. She cannot afford to just rub that stone.
Just rub the top one, no.
Yeah.
I think it's heavy.
No, inside brusher was down right away. Now they've backed off. She's got room by the guards. This is close to just rubbing it.
Yeah, not too far from that. Tell you, I didn't think she was going to hit that much of it, to be honest, at the end there. Well, Claire Booth still with a chance to get her 2. I think you pretty much have to play this. You know, some people might say, why don't we try to come around again and get a miss? But if you don't get a miss, you're forced to 1. So
the problem is if you're buried, you're not shot rock. And if you're buried so well that she can't go after it, she's just going to split the house and you're stuck with 1.
Yeah. And you'd probably never turn it into 3 anyways, because if you ever buried it over there and she could almost just say, well, I have to give you your 2. I'll go hit the one in the back if you want. But I don't think she would. She'd play some kind of draw.
Yeah,
She's
no,
missed the draw yet, so.
I mean, if she could bury it for shot rock, then you're right. She'd have to hit the one in the back. She's not giving you a chance for 3. But with where those guards are, I think if you're dead buried, I don't think there's any chance you got shot rock.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we got an in-turn hit for Claire Booth. Again, a little bit more manageable weight than we saw in the first half. So it's going to be good.
It is going to leave a double.
Yeah.
If Yoshimura wants to take a crack at it, there's a lot of room between them, but it's she doesn't have to hit the first one particularly thick, so it's not like she needs to whip it down there. She's looking at it.
Yeah. It's probably a little less than half rock, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree. And that anytime you're hitting under half, your shooter's going to carry a lot of weight through. So, she doesn't have to whip it. She'll just throw a good normal takeout weight. She doesn't have to come out of her shoes or anything.
Yeah. Not much ice, though.
No reason not to play it, though. You hit it on the nose. You don't expect Claire Booth to miss it. She's going to get her shot for 2. If you go after the double and you miss it and roll out, well, she's got to draw for 2, but she was going to have a shot for 2 anyway. If you make it, you can force her to blank here, and if you're really greedy, it's probably possible she could hit the top end of the second one and maybe spin up a little bit.
Yeah, and it is definitely possible. It would be an accident, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah, you never call that from this far away.
That's a good throw. I agree with you on 100% of the double. It was worth taking a run at it, but it's one of those, it's worth taking a run at it, but we're going to put the broom somewhere where there's almost not even a chance that we can make it because we don't want to slide right by or something.
Yeah, you're right. She probably had the broom where she was making contact when she let go.
Yeah. It was a very good throw and good result. So good aim for Claire Booth, though. Good chance to get a couple, and hasn't had a lot going in this game so far. So this would be a big shot and certainly a feel-good moment. Make you feel a lot more comfortable going to the 6th end down a couple. Even if you don't have hammer, it's still a better looking result than it looked like we might get to a few ends ago.
It's a manageable situation.
Yeah. So just the exact same shot she just threw would be perfect. Well, maybe a little up on weight. That wouldn't be good. But I think she's going to have a hard time holding this one, Sean. Unfortunately, just far overthrown. I think it just looked like a lot more weight than the first rock. So Claire Booth picks up 1 and now trails 5-2 going to the 6th end. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
We are back. Disappointing end to the previous end for Claire Booth after looking like she was going to be able to get her deuce back and move to 5-3 here. She had a little rollout, a little overthrow. Unfortunate, but still in the game. Trailing 5-2. Going to 6. Gym next with Sean Joyce here at the Beaumont Curling Club. Happy to bring you this game from the Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. Reminder as well, you can watch all the games on YouTube. You can go to the Curling Zone YouTube site. You can go to the Alberta Curling Series YouTube site. And you can go to Beaumont Stadium Curling, and you can find them all on the internet, on YouTube, and watch as many games as you'd like to watch.
Every game being streamed, not all of them with commentary, but every game is there. Unfortunate conclusion to that last end for Claire Booth, because they kind of had things that it felt like they had finally got something going when they made that last roll, hit and roll in the fourth, got the force, and had turned things around, and then she was one shot away from getting her deuce, and just the rollout, and that's probably been a little deflating for the team again.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's too bad, because it would have, at least they would have been on a feel good kind of mood there, and
yeah, they
a little bit
struggled for the first three, and then to turn it around right at the conclusion of the fourth end, and really had a solid end. Played a good end in 5. You know, they played some offensive shots, got their chance for 2, and just weren't able to finish it off. And there's an example of mentally things, you get a little down, and now you've hogged a guard here in 6, and it just everything snowballs, right?
Yeah, lead Sophie Brissett won't be happy with that one for sure.
No.
I have been impressed with Claire Booth's approach on calling ever since she got down those 4 points early in the game, and she is early in the ends at least. She's kind of called the shots to give herself a chance to get back at it, and for a few ends they just weren't making enough of those early on, so the strategy had to change halfway through. But she was going after it a bit. It just wasn't working out for her.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. I know exactly what you mean, because you see so many of these teams, it happens so often, and maybe more so at the start of the season. They get down and they need to play some offensive shots to get back in it. But instead of doing that, they play the kinds of shots where it almost looks like, well, as long as we lose a close game, that's good. But it's exactly not. It's still a loss, right? Like, play the shots you got to play to try to get yourself back in it.
So guard going up for the Alberta squad. Pretty much ignore mode for the Red Rocks at this point, unless something happens later on that you have to do something different. But down 3-3 to go without Hammer, you're gonna have to go and try to steal this thing.
Red Rocks in play just kind of help you right now. I'd like to see her, with that guard that far on the other side of the center line.
Yeah,
kind of what we talked about there just 2 ends ago when she was playing guard between 2 Reds. These 2 Reds are a lot more spread out, but you want to put it in a spot where a half rock could jam either way, because half rock is what it's kind of that, you're not even thinking about it. I want to hit half a rock. That's just it's a comfortable hit for most players.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can put it in a spot where she's about a foot off the line, across the line from where she's putting the broom down, and about a halfway guard, I think, for that depth at that line, and now half rock on either side, it's it's pretty close to jamming.
Yeah.
You can't expect a full-out miss, so you got to put it in a spot where you might get a jam.
Yeah. So guard going back up. I say it's just you just
I
get
just
locked
think that's
in.
a lot of ice.
You
She's
can
looking to
this
split
there.
center here.
Yeah.
May as well take it back now. Be behind the tee line. If she hits it on the nose, you can freeze to it.
Yeah, that's not helpful. You really, when you're down points like this, unfortunately, they've thrown 4 rocks now, and they've had 1 hog rock and this rock, which is really a miss. You just can't have those, unfortunately. Just an out turn hit, right on the center line.
I'm surprised they're actually trying to stay in the rings on this at all.
Yeah. I don't think you really want to do that.
No, scoreboard says you don't get to throw any hits this end.
Yeah, and it's the thing is, if you can kind of think this out about 2 shots ahead, you don't even just think it that any further than that. You just say, well, if we make this, what's going to happen? And really, there's nothing good's going to happen. So you gotta look at something else, even if it's scary.
You're giving up 2 playing this.
Yeah. And they'll learn that. They'll figure that out as time goes on.
Well, this is the only time she's played a shot like this in the game.
Yeah.
She has played the more offensive shots, and it's scoreboard dictated. Like I said, like you're down 3 without holding them to 2. Like if you give up 2 here, you're probably shaking hands.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think if your strategy is kind of that, well, they might miss one, and they're going to completely miss it, then then you're wrong, basically.
Yeah, that's back to the point I was saying. You're looking. You can't expect them to miss a peel, so
Yeah.
you try to put it in a spot where maybe they jam on something.
Yeah.
See, she's trying to get back to a blank here.
Yeah. I don't. Which again,
How does a blank help you? You need to score 3 points in 2 ends just to get to an extra. Then you'll never see last rock again. So that means you've got to steal a deuce somewhere along the way, and stealing a deuce is hard.
Yeah, and stealing 2 and then stealing 1 or 2 and then stealing 1 is hard too. So it's, you can't expect that to work out quite that way. It's gonna be pretty close to this though. No, curl too much.
She's just trying to get him grouped for now.
Yeah.
That's what she called. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yoshimura asking her third to play the out turn takeout. Just try to roll away from that one over there. Although it's not a big deal either way, to be honest. At this point. This is nice weight, just a kind of control type weight. And she should get a little bit of a roll at least. That's perfect.
Yeah. It's a really good roll. No double there.
No. Freeze maybe?
Could. It's getting late in the end for that. And that would mean she's changed gears for the 3rd time.
Yeah, I know. So you hit and roll over here. Hope she stays.
If you're trying to get back to the blank, you're not hitting the one in the middle. You're hitting the
No, I
one on
agree.
the edge and rolling towards the middle.
Yeah.
You don't have to be shot rock after this. She's not going to ignore it.
I don't see myself being in this situation exactly very often, but I think for me, if I am, I think this is probably the option I would go with too, right or wrong.
Yeah, probably. What bothers me about it, though, is that she's gone back and forth on strategy
Oh,
too many
for
times
sure.
this end. Like,
Yeah.
you've changed gears. Like, when the 2 rocks were sitting there, instead of playing the double, she could have played a freeze.
Yeah. That's where the mistake, in my opinion, was made. I think that
Yeah.
you had to understand, and you did it for the first 3 shots of the end, that you're really committed to trying to steal in this end, and you just approach it almost like it's a tied-up game in the last end, and you have to steal. It doesn't matter how many they have in, because right now you're probably not getting in it if you're going to play it any other way.
Yeah, she went and played 2 defensive shots, and now she's switching back to offense again. And the house is not as well set up. At least when you were freezing to 2, you get corner frozen, and it was hard to get it out. This has to be pretty much perfect now. Anything slightly offset, and she could just blast them both out.
Yeah.
And I think if she's to it now, I think it's over curled.
Probably just come off it, maybe, and just let it stop.
Yeah.
Well, she has to deal with it, but that doesn't do too much for her.
It's another one where I wouldn't be looking to try to stay at all, but if she stays, it's got to be well over there. She can't afford a 2-foot roll. Actually, probably helps Claire Booth.
Yeah. So turn pick really is kind of shot her.
Yeah, if you roll fairly flat, you can probably afford to stay because you'll be in front of the tee line, but Claire's going to have to try that freeze again, and you'd hate to roll behind the tee line and then give her a chance to offset the freeze a little bit, and you can't get it out.
Yeah, you could hit this like 7/8 to close to the nose, 7/8 or something like that, and just flop a couple of inches, and
that's iffy too. This is over curling. She's going to jam it a little bit, I think. That's not a bad result for Yoshimura either.
Yeah.
Well, it's a stone, and the 8-foot is all you got to work with for a guard. That's the one you try to come around.
Yeah.
The nice thing for Claire Booth, it will go on this ice. It will. She can bury her on that rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
And still be in the 4-foot.
Yeah. So it'd be not a bad game for the girls, for the Booth team to kind of go back and watch sometime. It's just, I know early on it was mostly the misses that were causing the trouble, but they had the strategy at least pretty good for the first half of the ends, and it's they could probably learn a lot just by doing that. So the outturn come around for Claire Booth. Must make shot really, and this one's gonna have to curl a ton. But we say that for about,
if her weight's right, it will.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Sure it die. No, it's not going to die. A little bit heavy. Will it hang around for shot rock? Really close. I think just a little bit too far.
It slid too far.
A heck of a try for Claire Booth. She was just a little bit heavy.
It's buried. If she's even 6 inches shorter of that, then it's a force.
Exactly, yeah.
She'd like to have been in the back 4-foot, really. It's, 4 feet too heavy out of her hand. You throw 4 feet less out of your hand and let them sweep it to bury it, and you're in the back 4-foot.
Yeah. So a draw for 2 for Yoshimura. She's I don't think she's missed any draws yet today. She's had a couple, and she's been right on with draw weight, so I would expect this to be very close. Has to hit full 8-foot. There shouldn't really be anything in the way.
Yeah, I was just looking at it too. She's got plenty of ice here, because I think if she came to her own stone, she wouldn't be in far enough to be shot rock. So she's got enough weight to make sure she gets by it.
Yeah,
or enough ice, pardon me. and she still took more. That's the only way she doesn't get there, right? If she's right on the face of her own,
Yeah.
she doesn't have second shot rock. So.
Yeah, there's no reason to be that close. Although I agree that you go out there another foot, you got lots of ice then, but you might be in a little bit heavier territory. So
You could be in a fresh path for sure.
I say heavier. Years ago, it would always be heavier out there. Sometimes now you get out to those fresh paths and they actually slide better.
Yeah, they've still got pebble where it's getting flat down the middle.
This one's looking maybe a hair quick.
I don't think it's stopping.
I think you're right. Just a little bit heavy. I think we jinxed her a little bit, or I jinxed her a little bit, talking about her never missing. So
The announcer's jinx.
yeah, just a single for Yoshimura. So really for Booth at the end of the day, that was about as much as they could hope for there. Just kind of the end wasn't going that way. It looked like a couple. So we will go to the seventh end at the 6-2 lead for Yoshimura over Booth.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Band has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
So we are back, and as we go to the seventh end, Yoshimura leading Booth by a score of 6-2, scoring 1 in the sixth, looking for 2, but she didn't get her 2, so Claire Booth breathes a little sigh of relief and thinks I've still got a shot here and going to try to get a 3-ender here. 2 for sure, and realistically you would like to get a 3 to have a decent shot coming home.
Yeah, I think you're going whole hog to try to get you 3 here.
Yeah.
So she'll likely see her throw the double corners again.
Yeah.
She got a bit of a break on the first one. Yoshimura did call for it into the top 4. It slides to the back 12. That's another rock that Claire can try to use later in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good corner guard for Sophie Brissett.
It'll be interesting to see when they go to throw the second corner, because that one is kind of in that halfway zone where it's really tough to throw the second corner on the same side. Do they have to split the house now?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of throwing the second one over there because I don't know where you're going to put it, just as you said.
Yeah, I mean, they can't throw the double yet, but
yeah.
You'll have to throw the second one on the same side. You're going to have to get them close enough together that a double peel is going to be possible later.
Yeah. It does look on the overhead that there's a little bit more room than I was thinking, but
still not going to be as much separation. They've had the double corner set up a couple of times and it had good separation. This is not going to be as much for sure.
Yeah.
And you dare not slip in here.
No.
This is curling early.
Yeah.
She's not getting by it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that didn't maybe grab a little something.
Maybe, because it shouldn't move that early.
No, and it's gone way over there, so. Tough break, but you do have the corner still, and you have one of the Yoshimura rocks at the front that you're able to utilize as well, so still got some opportunities here. She's going around on this, yeah.
Yeah.
She could have actually, if she wanted to, she could have ripped her own off of there too and just said, well, I don't really need to play any of this kind of game, so.
Yeah, that's true.
This one's going to go right back to the other one almost. Nope, stop, back 4. Thought it was going a little further than that.
Now, this is where I'd like to see her come around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
thinking about shot rock. I'm never playing that.
No, you can't. That's going to be like not even on the list, really.
Yeah.
You're going around the corners or you're going around the center guard. You're going around something.
You go around the corners, let her hit the corner guard.
Yeah.
Then you freeze to that back one and let her hit the open one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a case where it doesn't even matter where the guards are. Typically, you're going around the guard that's protecting less of the rings first, because when they peel that guard, you want to be throwing your draw to where you're still going to be shot rock on the next one.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that they weren't able to line up the 2 yellow guards, because then it might have taken her 2 shots just to get this rock open. But now it doesn't matter which one you bury behind. She's just going to have to peel 1 guard to be able to see this stone. The line looks nice.
Yeah, it looks very nice. I like the release, a little more handle on it.
You can afford to be deep on this.
Yeah.
Never hurts to have room to bring another one in there if you happen to get to use it again.
No, you're absolutely right. It's quite often you'll play that shot and try to get it back there yourself. You're not looking for it to stop because you need some, like you say, you need some room there.
Certainly if the guards were lined up, because then she might need 2 shots to get rid of both guards. If the guards were lined up, you'd play the first one deep, knowing that you could throw another one on top of there, and that's how you get your 3.
Let's wait on this one.
This might take care of the center guard too. Oh, how she got between those reds. You couldn't do that if you needed to.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting though. She left the stagger on the corner guards.
So looking at the outturn freeze.
And you don't have to yet. I mean, the outturn freeze is going to be the shot at some point in time. It doesn't necessarily have to be now. She could come around the corner again. She could even just throw another corner guard and make her peel it. It's all a question of when do you... This comes down to timing, and there's no right or wrong call here. You got to make whatever shot you play, but you've got to decide how early do we want to bring the play into the rings here. Yoshimura is probably at the point where she's going to have to switch gears, don't you think? Like, she didn't get rid of a guard on the last one.
Yeah, I think you might be right. We'll see where this one goes. I think it's gonna depend on that.
That's true. If she bounces off here, then you'll see some kind of defensive shot. Boy, they're gonna have to go to get by the front one.
I was gonna say this might be light or tight, or both. Oh, just tight, maybe. I guess enough weight.
It's still a shot. It's still a rock you can work with.
Yeah.
That was a case where it was a good thing they kept brushing, because you would have hated to overlap those 2 stones.
Yeah.
Just in case you need the run back for your extra point at the end.
Yeah, and it's in a good spot for you right now. You can certainly get to that back one if you need to. And
she can't take care of all the guards. So.
Yeah. Just playing the hit on the one at the back of the, top of the back of the 12-foot, I guess, is going to be a ticker.
And this time she's taking out shot rock.
Wow.
And I think yellow's shot rock.
Yeah, big break for the Booth team here.
Where are we at here? Third.
I think you're going around the center.
I think so. I think you go around the center to let her hit that, and you might have something to freeze too. I think it's too late in the end to throw another guard.
Yeah, it is too. Yeah. Oh, she's throwing the guard, I guess, is she?
Yeah, she is.
I think that, I don't know, if you come around the center and she hits the open one, you might be able to come around the center again. And
come around the center again, or she could leave you a wall back there with all those red rocks too. You might be able to draw down to something. It's just awful hard to score 3. You know, that rock that you're guarding,
Yeah.
it's never ending up on the scoreboard because she's going to peel the guard. You come around, and then she's going to hit the open one. It's never ending up on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So the minute you've thrown a guard here, you don't have enough rocks left to score 3.
We're having trouble with this shot right now.
Yeah, it's overcurled.
Yeah. It doesn't really look to me like she hasn't got enough ice for that shot, but I don't know if there's something going on ice or not. But anyway, it definitely overcurled too much, so more or less wide open hit for the Japanese team. But there should be still some rocks to work with. I've been saying that a lot. Just haven't been able to use them.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's got it. You know, the way the end is shaping up, she shouldn't have a problem having a chance for 2. The problem is she really needs 3.
Yeah.
And again, they just rub the stone, and actually they put it farther behind cover. Now the Reds are second and third. She's going to go back to the draw. I think this is the right call. There's a double on the Reds later if she needs it.
Yeah, you can't think about that one right now.
Yeah, you don't
Make it
play it
work,
now.
yeah.
That's a later on in the end shot.
Yeah. So Jamie Scott, third for Claire Booth. Looking to make an out-turn come around here. Ideally, something above the tee line would be good, but needs to be buried, no matter where it is. Those are going pretty hard.
Gonna have to go to get by. I don't think it's getting by.
No. Yeah, light more than anything, probably, Sean.
Yeah. And now with Yoshimura sitting 2 and she can't see the third shot rock, I think she's going to play some kind of draw. Looks like she's playing the tap.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted if I was her to draw around the other side. That red stone that she's tapping is in a really good spot. Now that's great if you tap it on the nose, but what if you don't? What if you're a little off center?
Yeah. So for you thinking Yoshimura play the same shot that Claire just tried to play?
Yeah, because that red stone's in a good spot. If you don't even throw here, if you put this rock in the corner and Claire makes a good come around, that's actually a pretty short run back.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And you could mess that up with this. Like if you over curl the tap back and you leave them staggered at the front. That's
So probably looking for T-line weight on this. T-line maybe back 4 foot, something like that. Little tap. An extension for the Yoshimura. Everybody seems to think it's enough weight.
Yeah, this is still nowhere near the nose.
No. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You almost might have to try the double run right here.
I think you do. I think it's the one way that you have the best chance of getting 2, I think, by
That
playing
you're going to
this.
get absolutely nutted in behind cover. Now, here's the thing. If you go yellow onto the red, and happen to double those 2 reds that are nearest the center line,
Yeah,
3 is still in play.
it is, yeah.
And if she sticks it in behind cover, she's going to be awful close to getting the double on the reds.
Yeah. Just make real sure you know where you have to hit this one. It's just there's not going to be any drag because they're too far apart for that. So just a little off center on the high side probably does it.
Yeah.
We'd like
just a
everything to kind of stay
sliver.
close together.
Yeah. And Jamie Scott in the house will have to be aware if this is close. She's got to be ready to sweep if they make contact with that second red stone. Because, again, if you make the double on the reds, and if she sticks in behind cover, she's got to be close to the double on the reds. If she makes that double, that leaves just the one red, lonely red that's wide open.
Yeah.
Your chance for 3 might still be there.
Yeah, you get one half shot or something like that, and you might have a real good shot at 3. This one's got to curl a bunch.
No,
Here it
not a
comes.
bunch, just a little. Oh, just by the back one. Oh, I thought she had it.
That was so close to being perfect. It's still a great shot.
Yeah.
You've left a half a rock out, but by the same token, Yoshimura's going to have, if she decides to go after that one, she's got to be thinking a little bit too, because things could go wrong in the front of the house there. No, she's going to play the same shot.
Well, she's thinking about it. She looked at the hit too.
Yeah, same shot's not a bad option, but
Looking at the overhead, thinking it'd be nice if I just would like the one Japanese player to move out of the way.
yeah.
I think if she plays the tap, it looks like Claire's got enough of. I think she could see all of the yellow closest to the rings. There's a good look at it. She can. So there's air. If she makes the tap, she's going to have a run through to score her deuce.
Yeah.
If she tries the tap and doesn't get third shot out of it, there's a double at the back for 3.
3, yeah.
And this is drastically different line than what she had on the last attempt. Like this rock is a lot farther off center. So to the point you made earlier, now she's going to have to go wider, and is the speed going to be different?
So that is a lot of ice, but
Yeah, for this rock being that much further over, she had to take some more ice. It's a bit of a guess as to how much.
yeah, I think that works okay if you just don't overthrow it at all. I think if you throw the back 4, back 8, something like that, I think you're okay with this. I think. I haven't really been quite that far.
We're going to find out in about 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Still a long ways out there.
Yeah.
If you're thin, you might not put it in far enough. No, she'll get it in far enough. That's what matters. I don't see a triple.
Yeah, that was the big concern with that. Just with the amount of ice, it was just if it ever stays out there and you only move it a couple of inches.
Yeah.
A couple of inches now, all of a sudden, as you said, the double comes into play for 3.
And I mean, it would still have to be made, but she's down 4. She'd have to play it.
Yeah.
She's got to draw for 2.
Yeah. So Claire's going to go in turn as well. She just had an opportunity to watch that one come down, so she should have a pretty good sense of what she needs here. Make sure you get out to the broom here, and you should be fine.
I'm a little surprised they didn't stick to the out turn, just because it looks to me like she can come to the face of her own stone and still have shot rock, and they've been playing that turn. Like that's the turn they tried the come arounds. They've got a better feel, or should have a better feel for the weight.
Yeah,
I did just watch this.
Well, judging by the sweepers, it should be pretty close. Needs to stop. And it will. So a very nice draw for Claire Booth. Picks up 2. They're in the 7th end, down by 2 without last rock playing the last end, but she won't be too unhappy with that at this point, I don't think. We'll move to the 8th end in just a minute with a score 6-4 for Yoshimura over Booth.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
And the eighth end is underway. You can see the first guard went up that we were talking about before we went to break, and it was a good one. I think I just saw it for a second, but I think it's right on the center line. We're on enough of the center line anyways.
Yeah, it's touching it, so she can't play the tick, and that's... we were talking about it a bit during the break, Jim. Claire Booth probably pretty happy that there's that no tick zone rule in play now, because it does give her a chance, right? If she can get the two guards up,
that's right,
touching the center line, then Yoshimura can't do anything about either one of them until the sixth rock of the end. Well, that gives you time to get two in behind cover, and at the very least, like, there's two ways to steal two. You got to sit two that are really well buried, or make her look at three. Well, if you can get two good guards up and she can't start hitting them till what would be the sixth stone of the end,
yeah,
you got a chance to do one of those two things. Sophie Brissett needs to get a good guard up here with the second.
Yeah, and I hope she realizes she doesn't need it in. These guys they tap in front of the house, but just not by very much.
Well, she wants as much separation as she can get, but you're right. It's got to be a guard, and it's got to be on the center line.
It looks like it's going to be sliding in.
Well, then you've got to bury it, because a rock in the 12-foot can still be a guard, but...
Yeah.
It's not...
There, that one grabbed a little at the end, too. Somebody's moving away, but...
It's not horrible. She can't see very much of it. It's like I said, a rock there could still be used as a guard, as long as she can't hit it yet. Kind of does the same thing.
Same shot for the Yoshimura team, just playing it freeze down to their own.
She was expecting to be playing this anyway, so that one sliding in when you can't hit it really doesn't change their call at all. This is the case where for Yoshimura, this is lead Anna Omiya. Is that how we decided it was pronounced? She's just looking to put rocks in play that eventually Claire Booth's going to have to move them if she's going to get shot rock. And while Claire is trying to deal with those ones, Yoshimura can peel the rocks off the center line, the guards.
Yeah. Well, that was two very good shots. There's going to call another guard. We're now going to be past, after the shot, we're going to be past the no-hit rule, basically, so...
The peels are going to start.
Pieces. Find some curl here. Can almost take that in and freeze it now once you know it's going to be in the house.
Yeah, just I don't think you wanted to leave a double on the yellows.
No. Yeah, just a sweep and judgment error, really. And we keep saying these guys are playing their third game of the whole season, basically. So we'll cut them a little slack here. I'm still cutting my team slack halfway through the second half of the year, so this looks so gonna hit awful close to the nose. No, works out well. Those staggered rocks don't really help clear booth a lot.
No.
They would if the reds weren't in the house behind them, maybe, but
Well, I mean, you could probably use one of them, but you'll have to leave a double on the yellows. And right now, when it looks like you're not going to have a lot of guards to work with,
yeah,
you want to be sitting 3. But if you're leaving a double, that doesn't get what you need out of it. You're hoping to sit 3, and then maybe she hits and rolls out with the last one, and you can get your steal of 2 that way. But if you're leaving a double, that makes that even a little tougher.
Yeah.
At this point in the end, I think you're still guarding. You're guarding the one that's on the center line, I think.
Yeah, that's the one that you can make the double off of. So I think you'd like to keep one of those rocks at least around. Overcurl a bit, but it doesn't really matter. I suppose Yoshimura is still probably going to play the deal. But they're thinking about it.
I think they've called down from the other end and said she could see just about all of that.
Yeah.
Like if you protect half of it, you're probably just straight peeling the guard.
Yeah, just a little too much curl on that.
You have to make a decision. You can't really play the either or here, because if you just get by the guard with the amount of curlers in this ice, you might overcurl the double.
Yeah.
So it's not a spot where you could play the either or, where I'm going to put the broom down and you're either going to hit the rock in the rings or we'll peel the guard. It's just the lineup's not good for that. If you just miss the guard, you're probably not getting the double either.
So back to the first thought, she's going to play the straight peel on the guard, and
you're never wrong peeling the guard.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to win it earlier than you need to win it. This looks good. Very good throw. They're going to ask for the same shot again.
Yeah, probably one more guard, and then I think you might have to deal with something in the house, and I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, I think you may be right. You might have to tap that left-hand one up a little bit or something, just to change some angles and open some things up for you.
Or to take
come all the way
doubles,
around.
Yeah. Well, that's the other option. You could come around everything to the back of the 8-foot.
Yeah.
But then she makes the double at the front. Then you freeze the 2 reds.
Yeah.
That could work. That might work.
Yeah.
This is coming in, then you got to tap something. You can't leave a triple there.
No, if it was going to be there, you'd be better if it curled another inch or 2, probably. But
yeah, it's hard to miss the double now, I think.
Yeah, it was going to probably be 2 set up somewhere out of those 3 stones.
Well, and they might all go. Like, she's going to hit the one that you just threw. The 2 yellows are pretty much touching each other. So the 2 at the top, the one that's on the center line goes easy out the side. The one that was just thrown is going to touch the side of that rock at the top of the other yellow. And with the amount of spin it's going to have, I have a hard time seeing that one staying. It's just, I guess, a question of, does the third one jam on something? It's possible they could all go.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's possible. It's possible they all go and nothing ever touches the other. Well, it might touch the back red one.
I think it probably touches it, but, they won't even care if they lose one of those reds.
No.
If it overcurls, she might not get no, she got enough of it. Gets all 3 of them moving.
Well, a good throw either way. Certainly a good shot. I mean, it was all set up for you pretty well, but
I think it probably touches it, but, they won't even care if they lose one of those reds.
No.
If it overcurls, she might not get no, she got enough of it. Gets all 3 of them moving. Jammed. Yeah, maybe it was going to always jam that solid by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Because if she hits the first one any thinner, it actually comes across the top more. So that was always going to jam pretty solid, I guess.
So we've got another guard going up.
And
This will probably be the last guard.
well, you would hope so, because you only got 2 rocks left after this one. You need to count them both.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have been throwing a guard there.
No, I'm with you on that, but
I think she could have come around the red one in the 12-foot,
yeah.
because you almost want to try to convince Yoshimura to try a short run back, and if she misses it, then you've got a chance to sit 3.
Yeah. It's third unit Katani.
Same thing here. You got to. Well, she's going to play the freeze. It works the same. I mean, you play the freeze. If she blasts it, leaves it in the rings, and rolls out, you can hit the one at the top and sit 3. I think she'd have to hit it. I think it's second shot.
Yeah, I think it's second shot too, bro. Or Sean, rather. Well, it turned into a pretty good game here at the Hack2House Atlantic Curling Series.
I still don't mind coming around that red stone.
You
come around the red at the top of the 12 foot. No, come around the one at the top of the 12-foot.
Yeah.
So you're basically sitting beside the one that she's trying to freeze to. She's playing the run back, but if she makes it, her shooter's not in far enough to have the one at the back beat, and you've got a shot.
Yeah.
If she doesn't make it, then it's an open hit to sit 3 and hope she rolls out. It's just so hard to make a perfect freeze on a rock that's out in the open.
It is, and you just made a perfect freeze a couple hands ago. That doesn't make it easier.
Come around.
Come around. Good idea.
That's good awareness, because as soon as it's heavy, she's got it buried. That's a good spot for it.
Yeah.
She's thinking about just hitting the open one, because Claire will have to make a play on shot rock, and then the one she just delivered is going to be open.
Yeah.
But still, better there than rubbing off. She rubs that stone on the way by, and Yoshimura is probably not even throwing her last stone.
No.
She'll hit the one you just delivered, and you can't be sitting 2 after that.
Yeah. And this is a good call too, I think. It's just because of where all those rocks are and how hard it's going to be for Claire Booth to remove the red and not just leave you a wide open hit, then this makes sense. Because really, even if she rolls out here, I guess Claire could hit it a little bit on the left-hand side and kind of roll behind the guard, not necessarily for that reason, but just so she could stay a little closer to the yellow one in the back, but pretty much going to be an open hit.
Yeah, the only way it's not, you could never call this, but the only way you could leave it as not an open hit is if you play the quiet tap back on the red, roll in behind the red in the 12-foot, and then rub the stone in the back 8-foot on the way by.
Yeah.
But you can't rub it very hard. I mean, it's a tough shot to call.
Yeah.
If you happen to do it, great.
Yeah. It would be a tough one to call.
Well, you can't throw much weight at this anyway, so I mean, there's the potential that it could be there.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to roll, not even necessarily dead buried. Like you said, if she's halfway behind, it's tough to do that, because then you're maybe not by the back one. But
yeah,
you'd like to make it not quite so wide open to the back one. So with the weight she's throwing and the line she's looking at, if she's making the roll she wants, she's close to touching it, and she's not going to have a lot of weight, so she probably shouldn't kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if she could do something here to force Yoshimura to even have to throw her next shot would be a very good shot right now.
Yeah.
And you never know if you make her throw it. Sometimes weird things happen.
Funny things happen when you play it on ice, right?
Yeah. You got to know what they're doing with this one, though. It's not going to be trying to make it curl.
Needs to curl a bit more.
Jeez, almost, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that was a very good try by Claire Booth. It was, just had to curl a little bit more, so, but not enough. So we'll have a final score here of 6-4, Yoshimura over Booth. Little reminder that you can catch all the games on the Alberta Curling Series website, or YouTube site rather. You can catch it on the Curling Zone YouTube site and at Curling Stadium Beaumont as well. And we will we'll be back here later with another game this evening. Thank you very much, Sean.
Yeah, 8 qualifiers. First 2 playoff teams to be determined.
Right? Yeah. You and I are separate tonight. I think we're both doing a game.
Yeah. Both of these teams still alive. Yoshimura will move on in the B event, and Booth's still in the C. She's still got a chance to qualify. They called a good game. They'll just have to pick up the execution a little bit more in their next one.
For sure.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.